It's the incredulously fabulosity sharkity. The Clark the Shark extravaganza, baby. The most amazing show ever on the internet. Ever, you guys. I'm not kidding. It's I don't even know if any of those words were real, but who is in charge of words too? I need to know, because I, Clark the Shark, invent words every day. What is it, Webster's or Websterpedia, whoever worldwide runs English? Well, maybe my words could be Spanish or French or German words. And I could always say, well, that's French for it's a Clark the Shark word that I made up, but the English language won't accept it at Webster's or whoever runs language. I don't know, you guys, but I do know that the Allman Brothers Band is one of Clark the Shark's favorite bands of all time. Little story here, 1986. Now, you guys know about Cindy. She lived above me, and I was renting a room. I think it was $250 a month, which was outrageously high rent in 1986 in Torrance. But I had to live there, you guys, because Cindy was above me. And then when I did get there, there was some bad, sad news, because at the time, I guess Cindy had a boyfriend who drove like some blue muscle car or something back in the 80s. One of those jock, like preppy dudes. And it kind of fucking sucked. It was weird. There was also some douchebag that lived at the apartment. I think he lived next to Cindy. Dude, you know who you were or are if you're still around today, right here on the Clark the Shark show. I would come home all sweaty working up in Bel Air, Beverly Hills, at Mr. Ida's at 10600 Sunset or 160 Sunset. It was a 5-digit number, and it was right across the street from where Michael Jackson later would die, you guys, in 2009. I wasn't there anymore then. I was down in San Diego doing swimming pools. But in 1986, my brother Greg was the caretaker up in Bel Air on Sunset, and he was supposed to actually be working with all of us, and he never did. He was supposed to be mowing lawns and weed whipping and trimming hedges and cutting trees and all this shit, and he never did. I would be walking around with a blower on my back. You guys, I'm not kidding, a white guy. But then again, I am like a white Mexican. That's how I worked in my earlier days. Not just landscaping up in Bel Air, Beverly Hills. Holmby Hills, I think. It was right around the corner from Hugh Hefner, that sodomite rapist guy who would drug women and rape them. You know, Hugh Hefner, he'd give them like Quaaludes. Hopefully he's burning in hell now, you guys. And the good Lord doesn't have a heart, and he puts Hugh Hefner right where Hugh Hefner belongs, right here on the Clark the Shark show. But if the good Lord doesn't, I will. When I go, I'll go to the other side, and I'm going to find Hugh Hefner and put him in hell. I will, just for all of you, right here on the Clark the Shark show, 1-800-449-8255 from the fabulous, amazing, golden EIB Sharkraphone. It's not a microphone. That's what like Hush Bimbo speaks into. I'm Clark the Shark, and I speak into a solid gold, not gold-plated Sharkraphone, because my show is #1 worldwide here on WABC Radio, New York City. And once again last night, Howard Stern was emailing me and threatening legal action because I keep saying I'm #1 worldwide. And I actually emailed Howard Stern back, and I said, Howard, what's your favorite fucking Allman Brothers song? I've gotten no response. I mean, I would get really fucked up and tricky and be like, hey, dude, what's your favorite Zappa song? he don't even fucking know Zappa. He probably just knows like Dave Grohl and Blake Douchebag and, you know, Miley Cyrus and Taylor Swift. The fucking guy's a shill for left wing, you know, leftism. He used to be so good long ago, you know, Baba Booey and beating girls' butts, you know, the butt bongo fiesta. And, you know, somewhere along the line, he just fucking, that all went away. And now he fucking sucks right here on the Clark the Shark show. And it's sad because he's no longer number one worldwide. And I am me, yours truly, your humble servant, DJ, MC, whatever I am at the Sharkerphone. It's not a microphone, you guys. It's a Sharkerphone. Because I'm talking about the Allman Brothers. Anyway, back to Cindy. I would come home all sweaty, and there was some douchebag up the stairs in Torrance, over there. I think it was 239th or 238th Street near, I don't know, you guys. I'll never forget the number. It was like 4111. I remember the number, but I don't remember exactly what street it was, but it was near South High School in Torrance, near Vista, Montana, Anza Avenue, Pacific Coast Highway. I just remember the fucking douchebag guy who sometimes he would be my friend and then sometimes he'd be a douchebag. He lived next to Cindy. He couldn't make up his mind. I think he was a Gemini or maybe a Scorpio. You know those people who are your friend one day and then they're not your friend the next? He was like one of those. I don't even fucking remember the guy's name. Scott. I think his name was Scott. I'm not sure. He sounds like a guy named Scott. But Cindy... Okay, we're talking about Cindy here. Cindy looked a lot like Rihanna, maybe, or I don't know, Tammy Terrell. Cindy was really hot, beautiful, and really short. I think she was only 5'2" or 5'1". And anyway, I would play the Allman Brothers, Black Sabbath, and all these, songs, 1986, in my apartment. I'd have like a one-man party. I'd be drinking a 40 all by myself, cranking the Allman Brothers. And all this other fucking killer music, you know, Alice Cooper and David Bowie. And, you know, I was trying to show what an intellectual musician I was. And then I would play my guitar. I'd whip out early renditions of Ben is Dead and Star and all those songs that were later on going legit. I was working those out in 1986 before I jammed, pretty much anyway, with Phil Keegan, you guys, and the Greenhouse Effect GE. Now, of course, about 1987... I showed up at Carmody's house, the red-haired guy, you know, Ted, with the big bun of red hair. Him and I used to jam with Steve Stepanian and Redondo, and that was fucking amazing three-piece with me on vocals. And then later, Dave replaced Ted, and it was fucking killer. It was called The Soul Clinic. And it was actually a better band than the Greenhouse Effect. I'm not kidding. But anyway, Steve moved to Grass Valley, and I found myself out of a band, and then I would hear Ted and Phil Keegan jamming at Ted's house, and I'd be like, what's with these fucking guys? Why don't they invite me, yours truly, Clark the Ever-Loving Shark? How come they don't invite me to come do something? You know, I'll play accordion, anything, harmonica, I don't know. They had a drummer who was fucking awesome, named Rich Hebben on drums. Ted, Rich Hebben, and Phil Keegan. And they would play like Yardbirds covers and shit. And Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin. It was fucking so awesome. And one day I just came there and grabbed the microphone and started singing with them. And it was fucking incredible. It was a four-piece. And you know me, Clark the Shark, I'm not wild about four-piece. I like three-piece where everyone's playing an instrument. I don't like a band with a singer, just some guy twirling a microphone, you know, spinning a microphone like Roger Daltrey or Robert Plant. You know, I guess if they're really good singers like those guys are, I guess it's okay. But I like three-piece bands, you know, Cream, Zebra, Rush, The Police, Triumph, James Gang, you know, Grand Funk Railroad when they were a three-piece, Blue Cheer. etc., etc. The James Gang might be my favorite three-piece, but then when Joe Walsh goes solo, that fucking sucks. But anyway, you guys, back to the Allman Brothers. These guys aren't a three-piece, not at all. This band is like got a lot of people in it, and about 1984, 85, 86, I was listening to a lot of Allman Brothers. I had a bunch of their albums, but I'm just going to do a generic review today, you guys, of 1969 to 79, a decade of hits. The Allman Brothers, basically, this functions as their greatest hits. They have other greatest hits albums too, compilations, of course, that you have to go buy tonight at Amazon, iTunes, Spotify. And my channel here doesn't exist so that Tommy Mottola and David Geffen and can make all the money, you guys. I know those guys are going to make their money. There's nothing I can do about them. And the Allman Brothers probably get a penny or like a nickel if they're still all alive or around. I'm not sure if they even are. But they don't get shit from, all the streaming and iTunes, Amazon, Spotify. When you guys buy music online, very little of this money actually ever goes to the artists, you guys. Solo projects, bands. Bands make tons of money from touring and playing gigs. That's really how they make their money. And then every now and then, of course, you'll see a band get all bent out of shape and angry because they're not collecting their royalties from the record label. Like Tom Petty will sue the record label, or maybe Don Henley or people like that. Or I'm not sure if Don Henley did, but definitely Tom Petty did. And others have gotten attorneys and lawyers and sued record labels. And I'm like, dude, the record label probably isn't even making that much money themselves, because now, with all this streaming and iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, those companies are probably making the real money. And I'm sure the record label is making some money and the artist is making his nickel or whatever, a penny. But it is unfair, I admit. But I, Clark the Shark, know that all the advertising and payola and all the things you must do costs a lot of money on the internet. And the way I got myself famous or known or whatever it is, I had to pay a lot of money to do it, you guys. And it's not from me selling music. It's mainly just me reaching into my own pocket and running campaigns of videos for, She's a Bitch and It Ain't Easy and White Black Thing and Brandy, and all those songs, or all the songs in the Phil Keegan era. It's mainly just my own payola, that does it, you guys. Publicity, campaigns online, and using web traffic companies. And I admit some of the traffic probably is bots. It's not real, but I'd say maybe 1/4 of it, maybe 1/3 or less, is real human web traffic. And if you guys want this same thing for your band, or if you got a hit song and you're not signed, or even if you are signed, email me at clahagin@AOL.com, right here at the Clark the Shark Show, Rock City Records, or, Rock City Radio, whatever it's called, or HagensClark@gmail.com. Get in touch with me, and I will get your song all over the United States on the internet, you guys. I will. And you will have people coming up to you like, dude, I'm sick of you. Your song is good, but you suck. I'm fucking sick of you. I can't stand your band or you. I want you off the air. And you're going to be like, sorry, bro, I can't help it. It's Clark the Shark, 1-800-449-8255 from the fabulous golden EIB Sharkerphone, where it's not a microphone, baby. It's #1 worldwide, not just on Mars, Venus, Pluto, everything in the solar system. I want to tell you guys a little story about the solar system. In the universe, our solar system is in a really weird place where there's nothing around it. And that is very rare. That hardly happens in space. It's almost like God exists, and he's like, he put the sun, and all the planets there in the solar system. so that Clark the Shark could be number one worldwide on all of them, especially on Jupiter and Saturn, but also number one on planet Judas, you guys, and number one on planet Snosberry. I'm number one, you guys. Of course, on Neptune, Pluto, all of them, you guys, Mars, Mercury, but certainly on Uranus, right here on the Clark the Shark Show, 1-800-449-8255, a decade of hits, 1969 to 79, the Allman Brothers Band. One of my favorite bands. Is this an influence on Clark the Shark, the way I play drums and guitar with GE, the Greenhouse Effect? Yeah and no. I'm not as good as the Allman Brothers. These guys are incredible. This kind of goes along with like Captain Beyond or something, or Edgar Winter, Johnny Winter, all that shit. I mean, this is fucking awesome. Better than Skinnerd. Better than Mountain, you guys, if we're talking about Southern fried rock or, that boogie woogie rock. I'd say the Allman Brothers are better because they got more going on. 1-800-449-8255, the Clark the Shark Show. Because this is technical prog. Everything's difficult. It's more than bluesy, you guys. It's atmospheric, melodic, really kick-ass. I would almost say this is prog rock. Definitely blues, maybe a little country, Southern for sure, you guys. But you guys all know these songs. Incredible. Unbelievable. Statesboro Blues, Ramblin' Man, and of course Midnight Rider. Unbelievable songs. And I would play these songs, do bet I'm sharing. I would just play that every day in '86. Loved it, loved it. I don't think Cindy understood the Allman Brothers, you guys. I got one more silver dollar, but I'm not gonna let them catch me now. They're not gonna catch Midnight Sharky. Southbound. And Melissa and Jessica. They don't have a song called Cindy, you guys, or Cynthia. I wish they did. I do, you guys. Clark the Shark. Cindy became a writer. And let me tell you a little story, you guys. I went out to the pool. I was kind of shy, a little bashful. But one day, Cindy was just laying out in a bikini. One morning, I just made a cup of coffee and I just went for it. And I went and sat down on the cement, like on a towel, next to Cindy. And I'll never forget, the chick was smiling, but her teeth were really yellow. I never forgot that, you guys. And I think it was because she took maybe that acne medicine that fucks up your teeth. I never forgot that. I was like, this chick is so beautiful and cute, and she's my fantasy. But she really blew it that morning, you guys, by having yellow teeth. And I remember I was like, damn, I'm madly in love with Cindy. I'm crazy about this girl. And I'm pretty young. I'm only 21, and she's probably 17 or 18 or something. But all I can think about was her fucking teeth were yellow, you guys. I'm not kidding. So I'm telling you girls out there, it's important. You got to have clean teeth. Remember the lesson of Cindy. You got, all of you, even guys, you've got to have good teeth. I brush my teeth every day. Melissa, Jessica, you guys notice there's no Allman Brothers song called Cindy. And I fucking think it's because of her teeth, you guys. Right here on the Clark the Shark Show, 1-800-449-8255. Ain't wasting time no more. Greg Allman, you guys. Yeah, baby. Awesome songs, all. Little Martha, Crazy Love, Revival, Wasted Words. 1986, I was getting wasted a lot. And one day in the swimming pool, I had an electric guitar and an amplifier at the swimming pool. And one of my bros was like, Sharky, we unplugged the amp at the very last second while you were diving in. I'm not kidding, you guys. It's a true story. I think it was Scott, the fucking douchebag that I hate. He unplugged the amp. I brought an orange cord out. I had an amp, I had a guitar. I guess I was committing suicide, you guys, because I was just bummed out about Cindy. I was jumping into the pool, you know, with a fucking plugged in electric guitar and an amp. And right as I was in the air with a guitar like Pete Townsend going into the pool, the dude, I was either Scott or Dave or maybe Rich Hebben, they unplugged the amp and I lived, you guys. And then they handed me acoustic guitar and they're like, here, Sharky, get in the pool with a acoustic. And I remember, I have a memory, I was so blacked out, you guys, wasted. I was in the pool with an acoustic guitar. I don't even know, dude. I was so fucking drunk in that pool with a guitar, with an acoustic guitar. Rich Hebben, he was fucked up too. We were both fucked up, you guys. 1986 at that apartment in Torrance, we were fucking wasted. You know, like Wasted Words by the Allman Brothers. And I puked. I went to my room later and just puked. And oh, dude, it was horrible. I also have a memory. I think we were in Cindy's house. It was a wild fucking day. You know, back in the 80s when you're drinking wine coolers and shit and too many beers. And you also have like the peppermint, you know, schnapster, you know, like you're just drinking fucking everything, blacking out, beers, wine coolers, the schnapster, baby. You're doing everything. It was like that day, you guys. And then like for years in the South Bay, that day was legend. I mean, blue sky. I remember, you guys, it was blue sky, Dickie Betts that day, but I was so fucking wasted. It just, dude, everything blurred. I don't even remember that day well to this day, but I know it happened. And I remember I saw the amp all wet in the garage the next morning with the orange cord, like, you know, those big orange extension cords. And maybe I died, you guys, and the coroner took me away that day, and I'm still here in another matrix today. It's possible, you guys. One way out. Don't ask me how the amp was wet down in the garage by my car. The guitar, the electric guitar, my blue Fender Strat, my little amplifier, my little PV Bandit, or maybe a Fender. I can't remember. A little, not a Fender twin reverb. It was just a little mini Fender. And I saw its black cord and I saw the orange cord, and they were soaking wet down in the garage by my little white VW Fastback that I drove. And I'll never forget the next day, or maybe a day or two later, I walked by and I'm like, how did the amp get wet? I was just like, that's fucking weird, because I should be dead right now. I don't even remember unplugging it. Me, Clark the Shark. But it could have been One Way Out. Elmore James, awesome song, you guys. And that I never came back. And right now, this could be hell. And all of you are here with me, right here on the Clark the Shark show. I'm just kidding. It's just a sharkulation, like a simulation, but, you know, I just keep going round and round. We never die, you guys. There's one way out, but then we always just go back to a day before, you know, where, we're 8 years old and, our douchebag older brother is like pulling our hair, or spitting in our face or something. But, you guys, in memory of Elizabeth Reed, Dickie Betts, killer. That's fucking amazing. Dreams, Greg Allman, awesome. And of course, Whipping Post, everyone's favorite song, Greg Allman. Incredible, bluesy, southern, but technical. The Allman Brothers, you guys. When I think of the Allman Brothers, I think of Cindy, I think of Rich Hebben, I think of Dave, I think of the South Bay, Torrance, Redondo, and getting fucked up, wasted. People really didn't listen to the Allman Brothers Band. They would listen to like the Scorpions and Iron Maiden, shit like that. Zeppelin, of course. Maybe the Who. But me, Clark the Shark, I would go to 251 Paseo de Gracia when I could, when I was welcome there, which was usually about 50% of the time. Because my brother, the DH, Doug, would be like guarding both sides of the house, the front door and the side of the house. And I remember I couldn't, I'd be like, Dad, this fucking guy won't let me in the house. And, of course, we had to call the cops or something to get me in the house. Once I was in the house, I would go down to my room and listen to the Allman Brothers Band. Maybe not this album, but all their other albums. I don't think I ever owned this. a decade of hits, 1969 to 79. I don't think I did, you guys. This is from like 1991. It's way after my time. But all the other Allman Brothers albums and shit, I would play them in my room. And for a guy into punk rock, you know, Black Flag and all that shit, I was really, really, really into the Allman Brothers. And, you know, I was into the Grateful Dead and shit like that and, you know, other shit like The Who. But I always secretly thought that Captain Beyond, you know, the Edgar Winter Group, Johnny Winter, the Allman Brothers, Skynyrd and Mountain, you know, the Southern tinged sort of things were like the best or something, you guys. The blues after the 1960s, done right, you know, in the 70s when things got more older, mature, and louder. You know, I could make an argument that The Who, when they updated their sound about 1969, 70, 71, I think a lot of these bands loved The Who and they wanted to be like The Who. And then they were such talented musicians, they got better than The Who or something. I mean, it's hard to be better than The Who, but The Who are really sloppy. They're kind of fucking lame. I can't say that about the Allman Brothers. These guys are tight. They're technical. They're better than Lynyrd Skynyrd. They're not better than Captain Beyond. No fucking way, you guys. And they're marginally better than Mountain. You know, shit like that. I'm sure there's others right now I'm forgetting. But I really love them, you guys. The Allman Brothers. Bunch of great, super talent here. Southern, bluesy, country fried, rock and roll from down in the swamps. And yet progressive rock, technical, amazing drumming, bass playing. Just fucking amazing, you guys. Better than Skynyrd by far, because Skynyrd is just rock and roll. Kind of like The Who or something, you know. They kick ass. They're amazing. But they are not the Allman Brothers Band, you guys. All these songs are incredible, and I want you to buy this album, especially if you're only 20 years old right now in 2024, and you were born in 2004, 3 years after Mohammed Atta and those terrorists flew those two jetliners into my Twin Towers in New York City, the World Trade Center, and they took it down to the ground. It's gone forever, you guys. I won't let that die, you guys. I'll never forget. And you young people, you're not being taught about 9/11 properly. 9/11 was our modern day Pearl Harbor. And I know your liberal Democrat teachers, they want you to forget or not know it all. Many of you were born after 9/11. You have no memory of it except for what you've seen on YouTube and TikTok and videos and shit like that. But believe you me, you got to know about 9/11 because that day was fucking intense and it was crazy. And you got to know, you young people, and once you wake up and snap out of your woke Democrat shit, you might listen to some Allman Brothers Band, you know, and you might get smart and buy this fucking shit at Amazon, Spotify, iTunes, or anywhere online that you can buy music. And I hope you wake up too and get woke from your Trump, Sean Hannity shit, you know, where you let the free market decide and you're okay with rent being $4,000 a month and 9 people living together. Hey, Sharky, you got to do it too and be like them, you know, like we're all in India or Venezuela or Colombia. Like we all have apartments full of 12 people. Sharky, it's the new normal. Like Sean Hannity and Hush Bimbo and Mark Levin and maybe even Michael Savage would be like, yeah, hey, Shark, you're a loser. You know, Donald Trump would be like, hey, you know, Clark the Shark, you're just a fucking lazy loser. You and your wife need to go live with 9 people in an apartment so that we can raise the rent to be $5,000 a month. As a matter of fact, hey, Sharky, let's make it $6,000 a month. Or how about $7,000 a month rent in San Diego and Los Angeles, you guys? Where does this fucking end, Trump? Where does it end, Fox News, Levin, Hannity, Hush Bimbo? Where do we fucking draw the line at letting the free market decide? Because if we keep this rent going up to $7,000 a month, it's just going to attract more people to come in here and keep raising our rent and keep overcrowding all of our buildings. Right here on the Clark the Shark Show, 1-800-449-8255. But in the meantime, you can do something constructive and creative, like listening to the Allman Brothers Band. This group right here, who I love, they're incredible. And I want you to buy all their albums, all their compilations, their greatest hits, and this one. This is just a generic review, you guys. It's, I will review each one of their albums someday. I will get around to reviewing every album in the history of rock music or music in general someday, you guys. I know a lot of you email me and you're like, Sharky, Vandergraft, you got to review Vandergraft. Dude, I reviewed everything on my old channel that YouTube destroyed. I had tons of reviews, and they're like, oh, copyright, copyright, or you put links on, you can't put links under your video. Dude, they'll do that on this channel too. They always fucking make a mealy mouth, big tech excuses to ban and delete your channel. That's what the liberals do, the Democrats, when they don't agree with you. And your friends at Fox News might do that too in their own little way, although they claim they don't, they do. Right here on the Clark the Shark Show, because everybody is a will to power, baby. They all want to be agreed with. And, their way or the highway. Not me, Clark the Shark. I want you to fucking disagree with me. Matter of fact, I want you to hate me and point out all the things wrong about me, Clark the Shark. And I want you to start a website and a blog dedicated to why Clark the Shark is wrong, how he's wrong, how I don't have the experience or the acumen or the emotion that it takes, or I don't have the IQ or the intelligence to be Clark the Shark. I want you to point that out. Just don't come around me threatening me. Don't do restraining orders. You don't need to come to my house. But I do want you to complain about me, hate me, and start a blog about me that you fucking can't stand me at 1-800-449-8255. Don't love me, you guys. It's like Night Ranger. Don't tell me you love me. I don't like that. Clark the Shark does not want to be loved, and I really don't need love or like or respect, regard, revere, or any of that right here on the Clark the Shark Show. I already have plenty of that myself. I live in my own little world, and I talk into the mirror, like Al Pacino or Robert De Niro, or like Jack Nicholson, and I'm like, Sharky, you're the best. Things are going to change. I know it. I'm Clark the Shark. 1-800-449-8255. Fabulous Golden EIB Sharkerphone. Check 1, 2. I got a backup Sharkerphone right here, baby, because I'm listening to the Allman Brothers Band, you guys. And I want you to listen to it too. And you tell them you heard it, baby, right here at WABC Radio New York from the #1 syndicated talk show host radio worldwide, Clark the Fabulous, ever-loving Sharkalama Ding Dong, the Sharkadoodle-Doo, the Wolfman Jack on crack, baby. You heard it from Clark the Shark. Buy the Allman Brothers Band. I'm completely serious. This fucking band is amazing, you guys. And you gotta hear every song. And get into this shit. Quit listening to fucking Taylor Swift, Miley Cyrus, Foo Fighters, Green Day, Blink-182. Don't fucking listen to that shit. Don't listen to Rihanna, Beyonce, or Toby Keith or any of that fucking crap. Listen to the Allman Brothers Band, you guys. This is fucking great shit. And it was important to me, Clark the Shark, in 1986. I don't think it was important to Cindy. I don't care what she thinks. She can go write books or, some shit. It's probably just because she has a connection. I don't know. Me, Clark the Shark, I have no connections. No backup, nothing. There's no Marty McSorley here, no Dave Semenko. but I got the fucking skills, baby, like Wayne Gretzky here at the microphone. Where it's not a microphone, it's a sharkerphone, baby. WABC Radio #1, Sharkadoodle-Doo. Get the Allman Brothers Band, you guys, and hear good music that matters and is important. These guys are more than Skinnerd. If you're going to get into, country or blues or southern rock, make it the Allman Brothers Band. Get into mountain, Leslie West, sure, why not? Definitely, you guys. But, maybe April Wine, shit like that, Molly Hatchet. Those are good, but this is better. Allman Brothers Band. Right here on the Clark the Shark Show, 1-800-449-8255. And I'm out of here, people. Peace.